Right.
Okay. Hi, Callum. Connor, how are you both today?
Good, Tony. How are you, buddy?
Good, Tony. Thanks for having
Ex
us.
Excellent. No, thank you. Thank you for your time. I know how busy both of you are, and I know what an advantage this is for my students to be able to get a little bit of inside information about your program and what you can offer them as they
Mm.
venture off into their own businesses.
Yeah, happy
Awesome.
to
Well, happy
help.
to help out and support them. And I think any industry that helps someone do better in life and live a more healthy life is absolutely worth investing in. So Callum and I are, yeah, really, really super happy to be here.
Excellent. That's great. All right. Now, well, let's cut to the chase because I know how busy you two are. I've got a series of questions that myself and my staff have bandied around and thought, hey, these are probably things our students would like to know.
Hmm.
So if you're open to, there's probably about 5 to 6 questions here, and if you're open to those, I'm ready to go.
Let's
Yeah,
shoot.
okay, let's do it.
All right. So the first one that we thought is very pertinent for our guys is how does your program bridge the gap between theory and practice? Particularly in helping the graduates prepare for challenges or common challenges in the workplace.
Hmm. Good question. In regards to challenges in the workplace, what did you have in mind? Could you give me a little bit of an example of that one?
So challenges for our particular cohorts is people not showing up for training sessions or people cancelling at the last minute, and then the ever growing need to continually attract new clientele.
Hmm. Okay,
They're probably
perfect.
the top three challenges.
All right, awesome. Well, the good news is that those three challenges are quite universal. It's absolutely, obviously prevalent in the fitness industry. It's also prevalent in the coaching, in the training industry. And Callum and I have a combined 34 years in the training, coaching, and psychology industries. So everything that we do is based on how well you can actually communicate and get your message across to the person that you're communicating with. So let's break it down. In a sales capacity, connect and convert is by far the most effective way. And by the way, we've taught this to thousands. We've traveled the world in order to teach this. If you can communicate masterfully, your sales will go through the roof. And especially, this is why we love working with businesses that sell an intangible offer. So when I say intangible, I mean they're not putting it in their pocket and walking away with it as soon as the purchase is done.
Yep.
The psychology behind intangibles is very different from tangibles, and it starts with you. It starts up here. How you can get and communicate your prospect to see the long-term benefits of working with you and have them plugged in emotionally to the long-term outcomes of working with you is paramount for long-term success. Anyone can get someone to sign up now, but like the training and coaching industry, the fitness industry, and we've had a lot of personal trainers come through our doors. The fitness industry requires ongoing purchases almost monthly. If someone's paying monthly, it can require a conversation every month or every second month in order to make sure that that motivation stays with your client. Now, ultimately, I don't a dream client would be what 12, 24, 36, 48 months of working with a personal trainer, a fitness provider. That that relationship is set up in the sales process. What the main difference is between a short and a long-term sales cycle is that most people sell short-term. Most people only think
Mhm.
about getting them to sign up now. They don't lay the foundation for a longer term relationship with their prospect. And I'm not just talking about future pacing and talking long term and
Yep.
saying, in 6 months' time we'll see these results. I mean actually having the prospect buy into your offer on an emotional level. And if you do that effectively, at some point, and it happens with everyone, by the way, no one gets off on this. There's no industry that doesn't have this issue, and that is retention.
Yep.
Getting and having someone sign up with you is the first step. Having them stay with you long term is the second, and having those quote difficult conversations around I don't think I want to continue, or I've had a I've got some my car registration's due. I don't think I can afford blah blah blah. I've heard them all before. Cal's heard them all before. And
Mhm.
the way that we teach people how to sell actually sets you up to have those quote difficult conversations so that you can navigate those easily with confidence so that you're not only enrolling more people into your programs because you have a very clear offer. And I'll let Cal talk about how to craft an offer.
Yep.
And by the way, a good offer, a good offer gets people to put up their hand. Great sales has people put up their hand and take action on your offer. And at Connect and
Mhm.
Convert, we cover both of those.
Yep.
So um, building up that reciprocity, building up that emotional buy-in from a prospect on an offer that is a nice to have. It's not like I need to buy food so I can eat. I'm investing in myself so I can be a better version of myself in a healthier, lose weight, look in the mirror and I feel good, whatever that is. The language you use on how to build the value in that for your prospect is paramount, and how you set that up for long-term growth is what we cover at Connect and Convert. Which means that if you can lay it down, if you can lay the foundation down correctly, every conversation you have longer term becomes easier, especially those retention conversations. And
Okay.
and I spoke about an offer. You have to have an absolute superstar offer. Cal, could you share some wisdom on your offers?
Yeah, no, that was really well said, Connor. And I think off the back of what you're saying, I think across all industries at the moment, we're also seeing a big trust recession. Whenever you're working with interpersonal relationships, we are finding that there's, especially in the coaching training and even the personal training, when you're in the gym or you're seeing a personal trainer, there is a bit of a trust recession going on. There's so
Yep.
many different players out there. The marketplace is quite saturated. People are often questioning the credibility of the person that they're working with. And that can be all very well shifted just by understanding how those human interactions work, how you can turn those interactions from a transaction to a transformation. Because, what Connor said is, people can smell when they're being treated like a transaction. People can smell when it's just,
Yep.
you know, commission breath, or they're just there to be a commodity, pass through the cycle. We really focus in on the human connection, the relationship that you build, and that starts from that very first interaction. And if you can build what we talk about, which is trust and reliability from that first moment, and show people that you can actually articulate the problem that they're experiencing better than they can themselves, then effectively you cross that bridge together, and they see that you go further than just them being a transaction. You're actually there for their transformation. And that moves into what the offer is. Often when people are showing up to coaching sessions with us or trainings with us, and when we're seeing people in the fitness industry, where we see our clients going wrong is they don't map out the plan for the
Mhm.
the customer. They don't map out the plan for the client. People are often showing up to those sessions not seeing the future vision, not having it clear in their minds, not having it fully articulated and demonstrated to them in the way that they visualize it. So, we focus a lot when we're creating the offers. There's four real things that we want people to focus on: is what is the promise? And the promise
Yep.
is made up of what is the temporal frame by which they can expect to achieve this? What is the currency that, they're giving you money, but what are they getting in return? Well, they're getting in
Yep.
return a better physique. They're getting more strength. They're getting greater cardio. So what is it that you are exchanging in between the two of you? So there's the time element. There's also what you're exchanging. And then
Mhm.
furthermore, it's what does that allow them to get? What does that allow them to be, do, or have as a result? And that picture through that promise actually starts to build an internal representation in their mind of that future vision. And
Yep.
to connect that vision between where they are now, we need to show them what the plan is. People don't just want to know where they're going to be at the end. They want key milestones that are going to be in between that, from where they are now to where they're going. And if they don't have those key milestones, a good physique could take you 6, 12 months to work towards, right?
Yep.
And if they're showing up each day or each week or 3 times a week, whatever it may be, and they feel like that outcome in the future is so far away from where they are now, they need those little milestones to reach in order to feel like, hey, I am accomplishing something. Yes, I am going to delay my gratification for the future, but I need to know, hey, how am I going each day? How am I going each week? Am I meeting those milestones? Because when you don't have those key milestones in between, if you haven't mapped out a plan for them, then it's very easy for them to make an excuse like it's too early, it's too cold, it's, like Connor said, I've got to pay the car registration.
I've heard the car a lot.
Yeah. So we want to build a plan, and we want to make that plan tied into what Connor spoke about, which is those emotional drivers. So what are the key milestones? And when I reach those milestones, what are the benefits and outcomes of each of those milestones so that I can actually tick those off as I walk through? Now, once we've got the promise and we've got the plan, it's then important to demonstrate some sort of proof. Now, that proof might be yourself if you're just getting started, as some of you may be, but it could also be, a recent client that you worked with or clients that you've worked with in the past. And if you can have that proof there, whether it be, Sally, who, started with a fitness goal of losing 10 kilos, and she wanted to be able to fit into her wedding dress because she's engaged, about to get married. And we demonstrate where she was, what she did with you, and now what the result has been as a result of working with you. Then that proof goes a long way to build that trust and reliability that I spoke to before and build your credibility. And then finally, the pricing terms. How do we show the pricing terms in a way that there's a low barrier to entry and there's very low resistance for them to say yes? A big one that Connor and I are experimenting with at the moment is the difference between having a large deposit that people pay up front for the entire program to working on just a weekly payment term. So depending on your situation, depending on your offer, we look at the pricing terms and adjust those. So alongside the connecting and the converting, there is also an element of crafting and creating your offer, connect and convert, that goes a long way in doing a lot of the selling for you. And even if the person gets the offer and still has some questions, most of the time they're just small little objections that can be handled within a 5-minute conversation, and then you create a forever client. And everything that we do and everything that Connor's just been speaking about is all around this idea of creating a forever client, which is someone who's a lifelong loyal customer of you, who's a repeat customer or a repeat client. And those people are also people who refer other people to you as well. And the benefit of that is you don't have to be always on this constant hamster wheel of sales and marketing. You can jump off that, and instead you can be focused on doing the great work that you do.
Wow. Okay. Guys, that sounds absolutely amazing. You gave so much content away there. My mind's blown as to how much more their students are going to learn when they do attend the event. Just with that small period of time, there's so much content and so many gems there I think our guys can take away from.
Absolutely.
Yep. Sorry, Connor?
I was going to say, we're just tipping on the iceberg here. I mean, the one thing that everyone needs to realize is that people are buying thin air. What are they buying when they sign up for a 6-month fitness package or a 12-month fitness package? What actually are they buying? They're buying thin air, yes, but they're actually buying an image of what they may look like in the future. They're buying a feeling of how they think they will feel in the future. So the way you articulate your offer with your prospect and the way that you utilize language needs to tap into the emotional connection that they are already establishing in their own mind and their own body about who they're going to be in the future. And if you can nail that, then you will have a massive increase in conversion rates.
Yep.
And the time it takes to convert someone decreases tremendously.
Okay.
Anyway, I thought it'd be necessary to mention that as well.
No, definitely. That makes excellent sense. And that sort of leads into my next